It was the kind of night that feels colder than it should be, a crisp November evening where the air bites at your skin, but the chill in my bones had nothing to do with the weather. I had no way of knowing, as I wrapped my scarf tighter around my neck, that this night would haunt me forever. That's the thing about tragedy. It doesn't send a warning. It doesn't ask for permission. And sometimes, when it strikes, it tears through everything you thought you knew about the people closest to you, leaving you with nothing but a shattered, unrecognizable version of the past. That night, I learned the truth about the Patel family, the family that had always been the picture of suburban perfection. Beautiful house, beautiful lives, until that evening in 2017, when everything shattered in a moment of unimaginable violence. The whispers started the next morning, the kind of whispers that claw at your gut, forcing you to turn a blind eye, but your feet moved toward them anyway. The Patel family was destroyed. It didn't seem possible. The Patels were the family everyone aspired to be. They had wealth, status, respect, a life anyone would envy. But in a split second, it was all gone, torn apart by a murder no one could have seen coming. Not in a million years. I first heard the news from a neighbor who was shaking with disbelief. "You won't believe what happened. Ria, she killed Priya." The words didn't make sense at first. Ria and Priya Patel, the two sisters who were, on the outside, the very embodiment of sibling harmony. No one could imagine them in conflict, let alone something as horrific as this. But I would soon come to realize that sometimes the most perfect families hide the darkest secrets, and the tension between the two sisters had been building for years. Ria was always the older, more ambitious one. From a young age, she had a fire in her eyes that could burn through anything. She excelled in school, went to a prestigious law school, and joined her father's successful real estate empire. The world was at her feet, and everyone around her saw her as the golden child. Priya, on the other hand, was everything Ria was not: soft-spoken, artistic, a gentle soul who seemed to glide through life with a smile on her face. She wasn't interested in business deals or climbing the corporate ladder. Instead, she spent her time volunteering, caring for their elderly neighbors, helping their parents with family events. Priya was the family's darling, the one everyone loved, the one everyone wanted to protect. But there was a problem. No one noticed Ria, not in the way she wanted to be noticed. To their parents, Ria's success was just another achievement on a long list of accomplishments. But Priya, she was the one who held the family together, the one who gave everything of herself without asking for anything in return. Ria hated that. She hated the fact that no matter what she did, she couldn't seem to win their parents' adoration in the same way. And then, Priya got engaged. To Vikram, a man who seemed to embody everything good in the world. Successful, charming, well-mannered. The kind of man any parent would want for their daughter. The kind of man who made Ria feel small. She had spent her whole life trying to be the one everyone looked at, the one who had it all. But Vikram's arrival and the excitement surrounding Priya's wedding was the final straw. Now, Priya wasn't just the family darling, she was the star, the one everyone spoke of with admiration. Ria, in her own eyes, was fading into the background, becoming nothing more than a footnote in her sister's story. The days leading up to Priya's wedding were tense, to say the least. Ria's bitterness simmered beneath the surface, hidden behind a facade of politeness. But I could see it. See the way she withdrew from the family, how she became more distant with each passing day. Her frustration was palpable, and when she did speak, it was always with a biting edge. A friend of the family told me, just days before the wedding, that Ria had confided in them about feeling overlooked and invisible. "They never see me for who I really am," she had said. "They only see Priya." I remember that night, the gathering at the Patel house. The house, which had always been full of laughter and warmth, now felt like a stage where everyone was playing their parts. Priya and Vikram were radiant, and Ria, well, she was there, but she wasn't really there at all. Her smile was tight, forced. Her eyes, cold. She didn't want to be part of the celebration. She wanted to be the one being celebrated. I overheard a conversation between Ria and Priya in the garden. I couldn't hear the words, but the tension in their body language was unmistakable. It was the kind of conversation that wasn't supposed to happen in public, and yet there it was, unfolding in front of me. I knew, even then, that something had shifted. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I felt the change. The air was thick with unspoken words, with resentment and fear, and I knew it wasn't going to end well. It didn't. Around midnight, the phone call came. A neighbor had heard a struggle, raised voices, the sound of something heavy hitting the floor. The police arrived to find the front door ajar, the house eerily quiet. The living room, once pristine, was now covered in blood. Priya's body lay sprawled across the floor, a single stab wound to her chest. But it wasn't just the wound that was shocking. It was the bruises, the marks of a violent struggle. The overturned furniture, the drawers pulled out, clothes scattered on the floor. Priya had fought for her life. But the most chilling detail: Ria was gone. The police launched an investigation, but there were no witnesses, no immediate suspect. Just the horrific aftermath of a crime no one could understand. Ria had disappeared without a trace, and in the hours that followed, a chilling clue emerged, a message on Ria's phone. "You always had everything. Now I have nothing." The message felt like a punch in the gut. Those words, they spoke of something deeper, a jealousy so strong, so consuming, it had pushed Ria to the edge. But there was more. The investigation revealed that Ria hadn't acted alone. She had been planning this for months. She had reached out to Arjun, a former lover, who had vanished from her life years ago. Arjun told the police that Ria had confided in him about confronting Priya, about taking back what she felt was hers. But he never thought it would go this far. He never imagined she would kill her own sister. Ria was eventually found, sitting by a well in a remote village outside Ahmedabad, staring into the distance like someone trapped in a daze. She didn't resist when they brought her back. She didn't fight them. When she was finally in front of the police, she confessed. Her words were heartbreaking. She explained how the evening had unfolded. She had invited Priya over under the pretense of talking things through. They spoke at first, calmly, as sisters do, but the tension between them was unbearable. Ria accused Priya of taking everything from her. The love of their parents, the attention of the world, everything. Priya, in her usual calm manner, tried to reason with her, tried to make her understand. But Ria wasn't listening anymore. In a moment of uncontrollable rage, she grabbed a kitchen knife. "I just wanted to make it stop," Ria said, tears streaming down her face. "I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't take being invisible." She stabbed Priya again and again, until Priya lay lifeless on the floor. The community was in shock. The Patel family, once perfect, was now torn apart, a broken reflection of everything they had once stood for. Ria's trial was long and filled with media attention. Some people sympathized with her, others condemned her, but no one could deny the truth. Jealousy had consumed her, slowly and quietly, until it had turned into something monstrous. The story of the Patel family became a cautionary tale, how unchecked emotions, old wounds, and resentment can destroy everything you hold dear. It taught us all how easily love can turn to hate, how close we all are to the edge, even in the most perfect of lives. And me? I can't help but wonder, as I sit here in the dark, alone with my thoughts, how much of that darkness lives inside me too?